Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen podcast with me, BoredGamer, and the lovely Zinnia. You may say hello, Zinnia, if you wish.
Hello, Zinnia, if you wish.
Oh my god, wow. That's a powerful intro. So, a couple of things I want to talk about today. It's the 21st of August. Yeah, let's date the videos, why not? But I suppose we'll release them on the day that we've
YouTube
got
dates
them.
them anyway.
Do you know what? That's true. I suppose what it is if we pre-recorded this like a long way ago, then dating's bad. Be like, oh, what do you think's going to happen in that election, eh? Or
we actually recorded this 2 weeks ago and we're going to date it.
Oh my god. That's a really good idea. We could preempt things that are happening. Isn't it great that 3.20's out, eh? Who would have thought that those new ships were there, eh? Ooh, So, a couple of things we're going to talk about today are, do you think the Star Citizen roadmap is a good or a bad thing? That's sort of very vaguely the premise of that, but I do want to talk about some interesting news and stuff like that associated with that as well. And some more bits on the road to CitizenCon, what that actually means for the game at the moment, and some of the stuff we might expect to see at CitizenCon now, based on the roadmap and what Cloud Imperium have been talking about. Let's start with, do you think the Star Citizen roadmap is a good or a bad thing for the game's development and its community? That's the rough, vague question I'm going to ask there. And Zin, just off the top of your head, what do you think? What do you think? Do you like the roadmap? Do you think it's good? Do you hate it? Do you hate certain parts of it? Obviously, it's got the roadmap tracker and the release view. What do you think of the roadmap as it stands at the moment?
I like it, and I can't see why it would be a bad thing.
Good. That is a good position to start from, because I can explain to you why it could possibly be a bad thing, and why some people think it is a not a great thing. And that's to do with the accuracy of the roadmap and how vague it is.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff that will potentially appear on the release view in the early stages for a patch, like 3.20, these features are going to be on it, including multi-crew, arena commander stuff, yeah? Which is then eventually pushed off the roadmap. That's an example of something that I don't think actually was added to the release view anyway, but just have this random example that stuff like that happens all the time with a feature being put on there and then it gets pushed off to a later build. So people sort of get annoyed about that it's not particularly accurate, it's quite vague. Often patches can change quite a lot before they're actually released and features get pushed off that. And we'll start talking as we have about the release view stuff. So this is looking at patches that are sort of confirmed patch that's going to happen that quarter or the quarter after, and these are the sort of features that they're expecting for them. Now, over the last few years, the actual release view has become a very short range, a very short window. So really, it only looks at the next major patch. It doesn't look beyond that anymore on the release view.
But isn't that because people were all like up in arms about... Pardon my language.
It's okay, you can just bleep it and people will be like, what word did she say? And you can guess in the comments below. Don't guess in the comments below. It was ship. That's what she said. Yeah, so people got relatively annoyed that the roadmap wasn't accurate over any period of time beyond 1 quarter. So basically Cloud Imperium just went, look, we're just going to only show the next major release and maybe the release after on the roadmap. But that means that from the release view point of thing, we don't really know much. Yeah? So
yeah, good job,
basically,
guys. But I am a little bit annoyed about that. Like, just because it's on the roadmap doesn't mean we're going to get it. It just gives you a good idea of what might be coming. And now we don't have an idea at all.
Yes, so that's one of my problems with the current roadmap, is that it's too short range. I want a year out. And I don't mind that those features will get swapped around and changed. I want to know what the current priorities are and Cloud Imperium trying to get there. I'd like a quarterly roadmap review from Cloud Imperium saying, this is what we hit within our targets, this is what we're almost there with, this is what we've reprioritized. I think that would be absolutely fantastic to go along with the project and its obviously evolving nature. But everyone's aware that things that Cloud Imperium are working on, they change priorities. And yeah. I think it's just annoying that the roadmap's short range. I'm glad you said that. I'm sort of glad that you... Well, it's something that's sort of... I want more, not less. And I don't mind that a lot of the stuff of the project is vague, but I want to know what Cloud Imperium are working on, what they're planning to work on. I don't want them to go, well, we won't tell you because we're worried that will change. I was like, well, I want open development, as open as possible.
Yeah. It would also be nice if something does change, tell us why. You know, like we thought we could give you this, but actually when we got to this point, we realised that we had blockers here, here, and here. So now we've got to work on that. So we're just putting it to the side until we work out those other things. Great.
And that's not because sometimes they do that. Sometimes they tell us in the monthly reports. Sometimes they tell us in Inside Star Citizens. But it's much more close to their chest and it's much more controlled now. And I liked a bit more chaos and seeing it as it was raw. And I think we've lost a lot of that. Let's move on to the tracker view. So the tracker view does look a bit further out. And I say a bit further out. It looks until the end of each year, end of December each year. That's basically what Cloud Imperium do because they have a big review in January of each year, typically, about the work they've done and what they've got planned for the coming year, sort of feature-wise. The tracker view now doesn't tell us where a particular feature is going to turn up. So we don't know what patch it's aimed for. We can take indicators from it. We can go, oh, this looks like this feature's done. That's probably going to be in the next major patch or the Q4 patch, or it will probably be shown at CitizenCon or whatever. But a lot of the time that can be quite vague as well because the tracker view can go, oh, work on the ship's finished. Great, it finishes in August. But that's not actually an indicator if it's finished or not, because there might be downstream teams, there might be other teams and other work that needs to be done to that ship that's yet to be scheduled. So it just shows some scheduled work on features, but it doesn't tell us necessarily how far along they are, or if they need more work, or if they need to go into the Squadron 42 branch to be iterated on, which is the procedure for a lot of features before coming to the persistent universe. With that in mind, Sin, do you think the tracker view stuff is still useful, or do you think not particularly useful? What do you think of that?
I mean, I think it is useful, but it does take some trawling through in order to find the information you want.
Yeah, and I suppose that information, you have to understand the accuracy of it's going to be a bit dubious, but you can see what teams are working on stuff.
Yeah.
So you can sometimes work out, well, the downstream teams haven't been scheduled in for this yet, so I know that this ship isn't going to be done, or whatever. So I think roadmap and the roadmap tracker, both very useful tools and interesting to add a bit more context to the development of the game as it goes along. I would like them to expand out the roadmap again for the release view, and the tracker view, I would like them to be more precise in saying this feature will still need work. And when a feature is planned to be fully completed, they sort of check it off or whatever. That would be nice. There's no more work needed for this. I suppose there always will be more work needed for everything until it's released. Oh. There can be some stuff. There can be stuff though, like it's somehow released. They can say this feature is released. Whatever would be nice. One of the things that sort of annoys me about the roadmaps and everything is pyro, server meshing, things like that. I feel that Cloud Imperium could tell us in a lot more detail where they are with them, but they haven't. They've decided, no, we don't want to say where we are with pyro. We don't want to say where we are with server meshing at the moment. We're not telling people if it's going to be at the end of this year that we're going to see pyro or server meshing. We don't know if Cloud Imperium have broken up pyro and server meshing from each other. We don't know if we're going to see it by the middle of next year. It's annoying. So do you think that Cloud Imperium should be telling us when pyro and server meshing's coming out, or giving us a bit more of an indicator, or do you think they're right to go, actually, we want to obscure it until it's ready?
I think they should obscure until it's ready, personally.
Okay. Is that just based on the history of what's happened before and people getting annoyed, or?
No, just because it'll be a nice surprise.
Do you like the nice surprises?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's nice to know, like, where certain things are and how development is going, but it's going to be a big thing, and it'll be great to just, like, one day wake up and it's like, yeah, Pyro's coming next week.
Well, your lovely point of view and your lovely little surprises are directly detrimental to me running a news business on Star Citizen. Okay, no, don't be. I want your point of view as it is. That's important. That's why I ask you that, because they are. It's a different point of view from me, and that's why it's important to have that conversation, because you represent hopefully a minority of people. So, with that in mind, actually, we're currently in the road to CitizenCon, which, as I've previously mentioned in a video, it's more of the dirt track to CitizenCon, because what it is we get less development information. They starve us. They go, it's your birthday next week. Oh, wouldn't you like a delicious birthday cake? Do you know what will make that birthday cake more delicious? Not giving you food until October. It sort of annoys me with that. And I can't believe that CIG are having this sort of like reduced, because at the moment we haven't got a new major patch. We're waiting on 3.20, which is going to be potentially at end of September. And we're waiting on more development information, which really, the good stuff is coming in October. In between now and then, before even 3.20 is released, Starfield's coming out. So do you think it's sensible for CIG to starve the community of development information and potentially during a drought period while what some people would see as a competitor is released? Or do you think that's actually a good idea that they're doing that because they don't want to compete with Starfield at all? They let Starfield past and then 3.20 and CitizenCon comes out, bam.
I don't think it should affect them at all whatsoever, personally. Yeah? Starfield is not going to be a Star Citizen killer. It's a completely different type of game.
What about Call of Duty Infinite Warfare? What about No Man's Sky? What about Elite Dangerous? What about the EVE patch updates? These are all things that people have said are Star Citizen killers, and obviously have not been at all. It's my point of view that Starfield actually just opens the gateway to players wanting more of a MMO or larger space experience. Lots of these players are then going to play like Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen or No Man's Sky or whatever, because Starfield, single player. If you want a multiplayer experience and you want a different type of game, then you're going to be potentially wanting Star Citizen. So I think it just opens the floodgates to that.
But yeah, I don't think it has... I mean, maybe they're just sort of letting Starfield have their moment, because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a moment.
It's hard to argue with how well Star Citizen's marketing works. Like, they make a lot of money. They're very good at making money. They do some missteps and some marketing speak and that sort of stuff that looks bad, but you can't argue with the amount of consistent money they're bringing in, even during drought periods, even during periods where there's economic downturn. Like, they do really well still. So I do think that I would prefer the feel of CIG being a smaller company again, where I feel that Chris Roberts talks to me every month or every quarter, and where I feel like all the devs listen and they can answer every question almost. But obviously they've evolved into this massive AAA independent studio, because that's what it is. They are an indie studio, but they are still AAA. I mean, they've got the budget, they've got the talent, they've got the size now, and they're just their own special little beast, or big beast. But one of the other things, during the road to CitizenCon, you've got these sort of reduced shows with Inside Star Citizen not showing all the cool stuff they could because they're saving it for CitizenCon. But I really liked that Inside Star Citizen on Resonance on audio. And normally I dislike audio episodes. Like, I don't even talk about audio much during the roadmap updates and stuff. But I really liked that Resonance episode. I thought it was really cool what they showed. I like the rattling sounds, and I like the fact they showed big exploding spaceships and the Hull C. They went, look at the Hull C. Sort of edged it in there.
I did feel like it was a bit of a cop-out, that episode.
But it's the same for the last month. Like, those episodes are road just to CitizenCon.
Scraping together what they can.
Yeah. And I actually like those episodes, and I think they should be in addition to Inside Star Citizen and Star Citizen Live. So these sort of episodes that I feel like are looking at more niche things or are cool, but not the news and updatey stuff and development updates that I want. I feel like they should be extra shows that we get, or potentially shows that we get when Inside Star Citizen is on hiatus, because they're not really even showing much 3.20 stuff, which leads me to believe that they want to show a lot of 3.20 stuff at CitizenCon.
Quite possibly.
Like, it's weird. Like, I was hoping that they'd show Q4 stuff for CitizenCon, but it looks like it might be a mixture of the two.
Well, it's 2 days, so maybe they're just trying to get as much information together as possible for it.
Yeah, and I like that idea. I just think that they could be... as I said, I don't want the dirt track to CitizenCon. I don't want a drought period each year. I want, bam, there's some cool stuff they can do. There's a load of tools and stuff they can show off at CitizenCon still, even if they don't sort of hold back stuff at Inside Star Citizen episodes and general development info. It just annoys me. That's all. Because they might as well just do a quarterly CitizenCon type thing instead and just go, well, we'll just give you all the development information every quarter, because that seems to work better. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you see what I mean. There is something I did want to say as well. Now, if you look at the roadmap, there are indications of what they might show at CitizenCon. There is a ridiculous amount of Squadron 42 features looking to be completed just before CitizenCon, and I mean like a week before. Do you think that is an indication it's something they might show at CitizenCon, or do you think it's just a totally random coincidence. It's quite possible it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, either or, really. Like, it'd be really nice if they're able to show stuff or even just give, like, a release date or something like that.
Oh, but Zin, you just said the unicorn. A release date for Squadron 42 is the rarest of rare. Like, could they start a proper marketing campaign for Squadron 42 at CitizenCon? It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's the biggest CitizenCon to date.
Well, yeah, I mean, they haven't had a physical CitizenCon since 2019, since I went to one. I'm not saying that that's the reason they didn't have one afterwards, but there's no smoke without fire. I'm looking forward to CitizenCon this year. I do think it's going to be pretty cool. Zin and I will almost certainly not be going to America to cover it. We'll cover it from our rooms. But I believe almost certainly next year it will be in the UK, I would expect, just because of their massive studio there now. And we'll turn up for that one for sure. Assuming they'll allow us to turn up.
They'll allow me. It's whether they'll allow you.
Oh, why wouldn't they allow me? Oh, I've broken my NDA or something. That's what they'll say.
You were too drunk and you kept abusing our developers.
Oh, that was a non-official CIG event. Oh, poor Elliot. I love you, Elliot. Oh, that's nothing bad happened. Don't worry. We're talking about me just generally being slightly more inebriated at Bar Citizens than I should be. That's fine. I'm good. I'm a fun drunk. Don't say anything more, Sin. There's a couple of other things I want to talk about quick. The Ship Showdown Phase 2 begins. Zin doesn't have favourite ships. She's not allowed them. She has to remain perfectly neutral, apparently. Unless you watch the Ship Showdown from last year, a little video we did where she said it was the Cutlass Red. So it's changed in a year. Since a fleeting enigma. I'm always going to love the Mako Starrunner. That might change in the future. And then the Carrack.
I don't have favourite ships, but I do have... though. Well, I do have ships I hate.
Oh, please tell.
So, like the Argo Cargo.
Okay, the winner of 2021? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's not a great ship at the moment. It doesn't deserve to win. I mean, you can meme it all you want. I mean, I can see there are some good ships this year that they've been added. The Vulture and the Fury, I think, are going to be high on the list. I think the Vulture could win it, potentially. Even though Cloud Imperium have not allowed it to be purchased in-game yet until 3.20. 3.20 it will be available in-game. Poor showing from CIG. Should have had it released in 3.19, in my opinion.
Months ago,
indeed. Alpha 3.20 is soon, so...
We keep saying that.
Yeah, we don't know when. Going to come out by the end of September, probably. We've got the Ship Showdown to keep us warm until then. We'll see who wins by the next couple of weeks. It'll be cool. There will be a free fly with the top 8 ships and a little bit of ship sales and stuff. This is actually a little question I want to ask you. They're supposed to be giving us a 3.18 and 3.19 post-mortem. What do you want to see from that, from the point of view of Cloud Imperium admitting mistakes they made with those builds?
Just Cloud Imperium admitting mistakes. I mean, they've already admitted mistakes were made. Probably just like more of an insight into what went wrong.
Yeah, we did know that persistent entity streaming in 3.18 especially was going to be rough, but we didn't expect it to be quite as rough as it was. And they only started sort of picking up the pieces in 3.19.1, and that patch is actually pretty good. But there's still some major issues with like desync and invisible players and stuff. Some of the stuff may well be addressed in 3.20, but that's more hopeful than anything else.
The biggest problem I had with, I think it was 3.18, was I just couldn't log on. I just kept getting that character doesn't exist or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
Error. Couldn't initialize, I think it was.
And you couldn't reset your character at that point either.
Couldn't reset your character, yep.
So they turned it off. So it was, that was quite annoying. They went, we'll fix it in the next minor patch. I was like, okay, I have to wait then, eh? The 2v2 dogfight heats for the little fight or flight competition was held over the weekend, which was quite cool to watch some of that. Because literally 2v2, they picked what ships they wanted. They had to be fighters, obviously. So they had at one point, an arrow took out both a Sabre and a Hornet, which was cool to sort of see.
Nice.
There was some cool stuff, some cool turnarounds. I really liked watching Avenger 1 flying around in a Hornet. A very good combat pilot. But at the moment, watching that stream, which is not an official Star Citizen stream, although the 2v2 dogfight is going to be at CitizenCon, the finals, So it's sort of officially a part of that, but it's sort of like a CIG endorsed, a Star Citizen endorsed stream. It did prove to me that Star Citizen needs the Arena Commander updates. It needs better cameras. They were running it sort of like in the PU, so they were running it not in Arena Commander, but once we've got 3.20, we've got the Arena Commander updates and all that sort of jazz, and potentially significantly better spectator sport and easier to run those sort of tournaments and things. I'm surprised that Star Citizen has big fan fests, Bar Citizens, and these things like the Daymar Rally, these dogfight tournaments, in such a large scale as they do at the moment, with what the game can support. And it's a testament to the community and the sandbox nature of Star Citizen at the moment, but we do need better if we want to grow those. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. No, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, get involved with the ship showdown. You'll be able to vote on your favourite ships. It'll be 2 ships going against each other. Don't know what they are yet. They might be put into categories. It'll be really annoy me if the Carrack and the Mercury Star Runner are against each other immediately. But they might be. We'll sort of have to wait and see. And they might put all of the previous year's winners in a category of their own, so that they don't keep on winning.
Well, I mean, being allowed entry means that they may win again.
That is true. But it's less like they won't come as high up. If they're all in the same category, some of them will knock each other out at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It's that sort of idea. But we'll have to see what happens. The thing about the Ship Showdown, the sort of phase 2 that we're going into now, it does create a lot of controversy with some people, just because it feels unfair. It is supposed to be just a bit of fun. As Sin said, the Argo Cargo, she's not a massive fan of that ship. It has no business winning. But if you want to vote on it, you can. That is within your right, and it's a popularity contest at the end of the day. So if you want to meme a ship to the top, you go ahead. You won't get me doing that. I'll be voting for my Mercury Star Runner, my boy. Well, that's it. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Thanks very much for watching, and tell us what your favourite ships are, what you're hoping will win the ship showdown. What do you think of the Star Citizen roadmap? Do you think it's good or bad? What do you think they could do to improve it? Road to CitizenCon, do you actually like this sort of period? It gives you a bit of a breather from sort of Star Citizen. You're actually looking forward to playing Starfield, so actually, Starfield's coming out, you play that until 3.20 and CitizenCon comes out. Maybe that's good. Maybe that fights some Star Citizen fatigue. That's what I want to know. Tell us in the comments below. For those of you that are keeping your eyes peeled, you will have noticed that the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is on sale again until the 8th of September. This gives you native high-precision head and eye tracking in Star Citizen. Very cool for general immersion, for combat both in ship or on foot. They are absolutely fantastic pieces of kit, and both Zin and I have one. Use the links below to grab one or to find out more. Are we alone in the universe? The truth is out there, but what if aliens visit Earth? But they're like monsters, and all they do is look through your internet history, judging you, laughing at you with all their alien friends, watching your every move live, and then they send like 1 million ads to you about alien products that you don't want, like those shoes and socks that have a gap between your big toes. No one needs that. But what you do need is nordvpn.com/BoredGamer, which helps you prevent that happening from the more real threat of humans doing the same. It encrypts your internet connection, hides your IP address and location, it has an inbuilt ad blocker, and also helps you gain access to region-based content. You should go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer and get a big old discount. You can also click the links below. Every month, we have a ship giveaway. For August, it's for a Crusader Mercury Star Runner with lifetime insurance. This medium-sized, well-armed cargo and data hauler is great for trying out a huge range of what Star Citizen has to offer, a perfect mission runner ship. To be in for a chance of winning, just comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details in the description below. There are some amazing people that help support the channel by clicking on the join button under my videos and becoming a channel member or becoming a Patreon with the links below. That helps keep the channel going and producing daily content. Please consider joining their ranks, but commenting, liking, subscribing, that all massively helps too. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the verse.